Hey, thanks for joining me here on our channel called Carmelita. Make sure that you're subscribing and hitting that notification bell so that you know when we're live or uploading content. Today is a Let's Face It Friday, and let me tell you why. Someone had asked me, or they had sent in a question about how do you deal with threats or distractions, detours that may come up in your business, or even in your life, I would say. And my response to that is you have to ignore your distractions and feed your focus. And many times that's easier said than done, but it is necessary. If you've been watching the news and seeing what is going on with GameStop's stock and Robinhood, you will know that a lot of that began during a time of distraction. What do I mean? Well, you got to think about it. We were just coming out of a very volatile and confusing election season. Then we were trying to move into the transition of power, and right at that point, homegrown terrorists executed the siege of the Capitol. Then after that, we almost moved into what I would describe as a military state existence in preparation for the inauguration. So people were somewhat distracted, just being worn out from all of that fluctuation and emotion and activity. But then also they were hopeful and excited about, okay, well, listen, at least we're going to have a change at this point, and let's hope that things are going to start to quickly get better. We don't need a slow recovery, we need a quick one, right? So all of those were just kind of things going on at the time. And then all of a sudden, here comes these, what do they call them, unseasoned investors. I am not as heavily involved in the stock market as my sister, but these are, when they say unseasoned investors, investors that are not or have not had a great deal of longevity in the stock market, are not the traditional types of investors. We're talking newer investors. Many are millennials. So there was a situation that came up on Reddit, and they were like, "Oh, we love GameStop. That represents something near and dear to us. Bump you. We're going to make this stock have some great value," and they blew it out of the water, right? These unseasoned investors. Okay, so again, what did I say? You have to starve your distractions and feed your focus, right? So they basically skyrocket this stock, what felt like overnight, which in essence it kind of was in a sense. And all of a sudden, the one percenters become not only nervous but pissed. These hedge funds are taking huge hits and things of this, and they don't like it. Why? Because they're like, how dare you outsiders come in here and start learning how to make money like we've been doing for hundreds of years. They had given you all those distractions. What were you doing over here trying to pay attention to the money? Okay? So that small group of people, they were able to starve their distractions and they stayed focused, right, on their goal, and they made a huge impact. So much so that Robinhood shut down trading on that particular stock, right? And not just Robinhood, we're going to see residual effects from this, that will hit other trading apps and just the stock market as a whole. But why is that important? That gets into my second point. If this small group of folks on Reddit, these Redditors, as they're called, if these millennials, or if this group of folks, it may not have been all millennials, if they were able to make this huge of an impact, can you imagine the impact you can make on your economic outcomes, on your wealth status, by focusing on what you need to do and not being distracted by everything else? Oh my gosh, I just said a word right there. Let's think about it. These unseasoned investors had such a huge impact that now we're looking at trading being shut down, but then also possibly more regulation to come. Now, why the regulation? Because the folks that benefit the most, I always say the one percenters from the stock market, they want others to come in and trade and do things, but they don't. It wasn't meant for the masses. I mean, you got to think about it. Wall Street was started by what, 24 men? It was 24 men initially that started Wall Street, and they only wanted to trade amongst themselves, and then they were going to charge all these huge fees to anybody else that wanted to do it. Go back and do your research. So now they're like, hey, no fair. The everyday folks are learning how to make money. You better pay attention. You better starve your distractions and feed your focus. That leads me to my third point. You need to be out here making informed and educated moves. You need to stick to your wealth building plan for yourself, because at the end of the day, what is it that matters? The money, the economics. And I'm not saying that money is a tool. So I'm not saying we need to chase the dollar, but we need to be smart about how we build our wealth, how we diversify portfolios. And I'm very clear about my lane and how I want to continue in my lane and secure my wealth that way. It doesn't mean one way is better than another. It just means that you need to stay focused on what your goal is. Inform yourself, stay educated. Don't try to execute everything at one time, but make sure that you are moving with knowledge and intent. And let me tell you the funny thing. I always crack up at this because this happens to me a lot. People will always attempt to threaten what you're doing or what you have. Do not be distracted by them. First of all, they don't even know what you have or what you're going. I tell people all the time, yeah, we are 10-year overnight successes. Don't get it twisted. We have ebbs and flows like everybody else. We have to work hard like everybody else. It is feast or famine at times, like everyone else. Okay? But our intent and the way that we educate ourselves and the way that we move on purpose, it is so focused that we are not willing to relinquish that at all. Other people that just want to be haters are my favorite because they're weak. They're so busy trying to sabotage what you're doing, they don't realize that their ego prevents them from doing what they need to do. They're whiners, they're complainers, they don't settle down long enough to educate themselves. Yeah, I'm saying what I'm saying. They don't sit down long enough to get the knowledge to even execute their plan. But guess what? That's not my business, and it's not yours either. Starve your distractions and feed your focus. Don't worry about those people. They don't have anything to do with you or your wealth building ability. So this is just a Face the Facts Friday, y'all. Just face the facts. Worry about educating yourself. Worry about developing your wealth building plan for yourself and for your family, and stick to it. Don't be distracted by others or some of the things that are going on. Many of the things we need to be aware of, just don't be distracted by them. And the more you educate yourself, the more you'll be able to understand what it's really all about. So therefore you won't have so much anxiety about it. So that's my answer. Like I said, they were asking me, how do I deal with distractions or threats to my business or even to my life? And that's what I do. I stay focused. I educate, meditate, reflect, make informed moves. And there are times that certain people that maybe I was doing business with, or maybe, I thought might be a great partnership to pursue, I close that door on that forever. When I shut a door, I don't reopen it. So that's something to put in your tool chest as well. Thanks for hanging out with me, folks, on a Face the Facts Friday. Please make sure you are subscribing to the channel here, called Carmelita. Ring that notification bell and select all so that you'll know when we're live and uploading new content. We thank you for hanging out with us. And listen, make sure that you leave a comment on this video. Let me know what you do to deal with distractions that come to threaten you. How do you deal with those distractions and stay focused on what it is that you need to do for yourself and your family? Take care, folks.